2 days left.
Yeah, so I wanted to share some reflections after some journal entries I had about the topic of everything in moderation. And I want to put out a disclaimer by saying that I know that there are some people who are eating high raw and thriving. That is not me. I cannot.
Yes.
That is not for me. So this past week, well, for the past couple of weeks and months, I've kind of been like going through this process of grieving old versions of me and realizing that there really is no going back. And that was taking a toll on me mentally. And I was looking for comfort through food. And this past week, I had a little dip with cooked food. And instead of kind of catastrophizing everything and being like, why is this happening to me? I asked myself, what is this trying to teach me? And it felt like there were two final lessons that I needed to learn through this experience in order to fully surrender to the raw lifestyle. And so I wanted to share those lessons with you guys. The first one was that, well, there were these two voices, right? That didn't ever fully allow me to put both feet in with raw. And the first voice was telling me that I'm just chasing perfection and that I needed to give myself grace. And that was a very, very loud voice because anytime cravings would come back or I would have memories of old eating behaviors, which I see cravings as just memories, whether that's memories through your mind or memories through your gut. So anytime I would have those cravings come around, that voice would say, you're just trying to be perfect. Like you can have a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And what this experience taught me was that I'm not chasing perfection. I'm choosing divine protection. And that was a very important reframe for me because I had to treat myself like someone who was formerly addicted to alcohol. For example, you wouldn't tell that person who's refusing to eat a slice of cake with rum in it that they're trying to be perfect. They're protecting themselves. They're protecting themselves. And by choosing to eat raw, I know why I eat raw, but I also needed to know through this why I don't eat cooked food. And it's because it opens a door to something that I cannot handle. And that's okay to know that I can't handle that. So I'm really, really happy about that because that was a very loud voice. And I would always like, especially trying to heal from diet culture, I didn't want to think that I was trying to be perfect, but it was never about perfection. It was about protection. That's the first lesson. The second lesson,
Wait, first of all, that was amazing. Who related to that shit? Like that was so on point how you said it. But also, I wanted to add that can you believe that we're in this reality where like eating raw is like, perfect? Like that's our species specific food. And because we've gotten so fucking fucked up from centuries and centuries of being addicted to foods that were never supposed to be in the human body, salt, sugar, oil, wheat, animal products, milk, dairy, but now we have to work our way out of that addiction, and nobody has taught us how to do that, and nobody's holding our hand in real life to do that. Nobody around us is doing it. Yeah, we are, but like nobody in our home, nobody in our family group, nobody in our work environment. So it's like we're trying to get out of this addiction. And by the way, Sarah, it's all of us. Some people aren't addicted to food. Okay, I get that, but they have another addiction. So it's like, yeah, if food was your addiction, then of course, eating that food is not at all part of your healing process. But it's like we don't want to set ourselves up for failure trying to be perfect. Can you imagine we eating our species specific food has now become like perfect? Like that's striving to be perfect. And it's like so stressful because it's like there's so much you can't eat and then social outings and just have to sit back and look at this shit. It's unbelievable. But anyway, it hit me now just like, oh my God, wow, we really are doing something amazing by getting free from the addiction that everybody, 99.999% of people are still on. Cooked food is the number one addiction in the world. It's crazy. And salt is a big part of it. And someone is struggling. I forgot who, not here, but somebody online is struggling. Food, he can't get off his cooked food. It's the salt. It's not the cooked food, it's the salt. But anyway, okay, continue, Sarah. I think you just said it so good. I just want to say that.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. Like even sometimes in conversation when it'll come up and someone will ask, "Well, what do you eat?" I whisper like, "Just fruits and vegetables," because it's like it seems so abnormal to people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how dare you deprive yourself of cake and this and that? And it's like,
Like, do you have an eating disorder? Whoa.
exactly,
You're eating your
exactly.
species specific food? Like, you sure that's healthy?
Yeah. And that ties into the second lesson that I wanted to talk about, which is another voice. Like I would see people on social media and people out in the world who do eat high raw, but then they kind of have everything else in moderation and that works for them. And so for a long time, I thought that the proof of strength was eating in moderation. But I've learned for me that my proof of strength is letting go. And that's that. Like, I don't have to prove to myself that I'm strong because I can have a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Like, my strength comes from being able to let go and closing the door. And I will not continue to, I'm not going to say that all cooked food is like the devil. But for me, one bite is poison because it opens the door to poison. And I
But
cannot live
even
like
with like, I'm just curious, like even with steamed peas or like steamed
I
vegetables?
want steamed peas or steamed vegetables.
Yeah, no,
Like
if you
my
don't want it, fuck it. Yeah.
this whole thing started with me saying like, "Oh, I just want a little bit of like the blue corn tortilla chips." And I hadn't had that in years. It was such a random craving.
No, but you
And
want the
then
salt. You don't want those chips. You want the
exactly.
salt. Yeah.
But then I got to the grocery store to get those chips and I walked right by them because once I let myself mentally say, okay, you can have that, all of a sudden I was like, no, but it would be good with this and with this and with that. And I was like, wait, what the fuck is happening? Like it just
Yeah.
opened the portal to something. And in Natalie's case, like if all you really want is some sweet potatoes and you have that and that feels good and balanced and amazing. But for me, it wasn't really even about the food. It was just permission to have access to every and anything. And so I have to just cut that shit out because it doesn't work for me. And raw works for me. Like I don't need to convince myself why I love eating raw. I just needed to give myself permission to not go back to eating cooked because it I couldn't have one foot in and one foot out mentally because it opens the door for me physically. And I can't live like that.
And now I agree. That's me too. But now our job is to keep reminding ourselves that this like we have to let go of everyone else's opinion for the rest of our life because the whole world is going to try and still convince you that you're being too strict on yourself. You have an eating disorder. You have whatever. You're being too like, no fun anymore or this, whatever, this and that, right? You're being too restrictive. It's too restrictive. It's not enough nutrients. You need the nutrients from the beans and the this, a complete protein. But your job now is to really not isolate yourself, but this is the fine line, okay? Not isolate yourself, but have your mind made up and you know what works and this is clarity. And then these lists that we made really help too because you're like, okay, this works, this doesn't work. I've been down this path. It's not going to change. It's never going to change. And the world's going to say all this shit, but you have to have your blinders on and be able to be around people that will never understand you and will still, even though you're going to be thriving, healthy as fuck, looking amazing, they're going to be sick. They could be in a fucking wheelchair. They'll be in their hospital bed talking, smoking, talking about, you sure you're getting enough protein? Like, that's the kind of shit we have to fucking deal with. That's the payoff. There's a price to everything. And the price of being a raw vegan or healthy vegan, right? The price of that is you're going to have to deal with the fucking real world, which is insane. And I'm so
And
proud of you.
I rather deal with the people outside than have to have this inner battle with
Mm,
me constantly. Because if you don't have those boundaries with self, it's like a constant game of negotiation. And that shit is mentally exhausting. I
yeah.
rather
Yeah.
know in my heart what is for me and what is not for me, and then deal with the people who won't shut the fuck up, than have to deal with my inner critic and like every voice in my head that's saying, "Oh, you can do a little bit of this and a little bit of that." That's too much. Other people I can handle.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
how to shut shit down. But with me, that shit goes on forever. And it's like I can see every single side and I can have grace for every single part of myself and every single voice that is in my head. And I can't win that battle.
Yeah. Selena said a great point. Decision fatigue. it is exhausting. Like you said, it is exhausting to be in a mental battle with yourself. So please, everyone, this week, finish this list and get very clear on what you do want to eat, what you don't eat, what you don't keep in the house, and what you want to eat socially. And maybe there's nothing you want to eat socially, or maybe there's a ton of stuff, but that can't get in your house. And you can't be eating that just every day, eating socially every day, because you already know that's going to lead to just a place you don't want to be physically, mentally, emotionally. Don't allow yourself to eat things socially that take you down a spiral of addiction and guilt. And there should be no emotional attachment to food, which is easier said than done. I know. But like I was in such a cycle of guilt and shame and fighting with myself, inner battle. And I was always feeling guilty and I was always feeling shame for what I was eating. And I was always eating alone because I didn't want anyone else to see me eating alone. And that's not like that was in no way healthy at all. And that's what the world will tell you is healthy. Oh, just eat this in moderate. You can have this sometimes, but then that sometimes food would turn into every day. So those foods, I don't eat those socially. If there's a food that's super addicting to me, like yes, salt, I think I'm probably going to have to take that off because now that I'm off salt, if I eat it socially, I'm going to want it the next day and the next day and the next day. That's just the reality of it. Salt is one of the fucking hardest things to get off, and I finally got off it, and I don't think I want to, it's going to be really hard to get me to eat salt again because I don't want to go through that whole withdrawal thing again where it's like, oh, no dressing tastes good. Oh, no salad tastes good without guacamole doesn't taste good without salt. It's just like once you get off it, it's just like, oh, it's easier to fucking stay off it. Okay, Will Smith said it's easier to stay in shape than it is to lose weight. It is easier to stay in shape than to get in shape. Okay? So it's easier to stay raw than it is to go raw. And I can't explain it any better than that. Sarah, that was really good. I'm just curious, is there any way, you'll think about this, but is there any way that I could post what you said? Because it's really good.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because you know what? There's a lot of people out there that feel crazy, feel like they may have an eating disorder because they're raw, feel weird, feel alone in this, feel like, oh, is it me? Am I crazy or am I doing something wrong by being so restrictive with myself? Dude, the raw food diet is just a place, it's a lifestyle where you give up everything you were never designed to eat in the fucking first place. It's not, it's like, yeah, it's restrictive when you are surrounded by crap and processed foods, when you're surrounded by food-like substances that were never actually food. It's not food. So it's like, I mean, the world literally brainwashed us to think that this is a very restrictive diet. But see, yeah, one day we will all make it to the tropics because that's why I'm making it finally after 16 years to the tropics, because that's where there's tons of more options. It's not fair that we only have, what, 10, maybe 15 fruits? No, we're supposed to have, there's 80,000. There's 80,000 fruits, you guys. So of course, if you're just eating apples and bananas and grapes and they all suck, and that's all you have access to, it's very restrictive and it's very like, ugh, what am I gonna eat? I know I want something. So that's why people thrive, like Martha with the durian and the jackfruit, and you get other flavors and you get and you get excited. Like you just get other things. Who can eat the same thing over and over and over and over again? That's the problem. That's why you gotta make money like rolling. So you can be rolling in the fucking canistel instead of the dough, because we don't eat dough. Rolling in the fucking mame. Okay, yeah, McZesty. Oh, let me stop filming because there's something I wanted to say too, actually. But McZesty, what were you gonna say?
I just had a two-part question.